Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. All of you seasoned tea heads out there will know that one of the joys of tea, one of the foundational elements of tea is the concept of transformation. Transformation from the leaf in nature to the wonderful tea in your cup. Transformation through a session from infusion number 1 to the last infusion as the tea gives up its flavor and its character. Transformation in yourself as you drink the tea and you focus on the present and you find that there are shifts in your life. Transformations in your relationships as you share tea with others. The list goes on and on and on. And late last year, sort of around October last year, while we were working on the Fractal Fate Finder competition, which is also about transformation, but was about really sort of an active form of transformation, pulling your head out of the sand and seeking out truth. I was also at this time really interested in the concept of transformation through stillness, through quiet, through observation, through holding space. The concept of Wu Wei in Taoism, the idea that the best course of action is many times inaction, that you can unlock positive paths and solve problems through doing nothing. And so I wanted at this time to find a tea that represented the power, the transformative power of tea through stillness. And so we were tasting lots of autumn Gushu PuErh, autumn 2020 raw PuErh. I love autumn PuErh. I know that spring has more of a kick, but autumn PuErh has an incredible complexity of aromatics and has a beautiful potency in its gentle nature. And so I thought that it would fit really well with this concept. And so we tried lots of blends of Gushu PuErh and we came up with this. This is our new release. This is our new Gushu Raw PuErh Autumn 2020. It's called the Chime Gatherer. And you can see the loris sitting on a snowy winter's day on a persimmon tree with a little baton in his hand and a triangle, ready to hit that triangle and create this chime to gather anybody around the persimmon tree, anybody who wants to gather around this still, quiet space to bring about positive transformation. You can see the cover up close. I think that Celine has just done a really special job here to capture what we're trying to go for. Very, very stark, very, very minimal, lots and lots of white space representing the snow. Really, really pops with those incredible, the color of those persimmon, but really sort of simple, graphic, almost Zen-like in its simplicity and beauty. The loris there sort of sitting quietly in this quiet space. You can sort of hear the silence in it almost just by looking at this cover. And persimmons are a winter fruit, so they can grow in very, very cold temperature, including on snowy days. And they also have a lot of symbolism in Buddhism of transformation itself and divination. So finding truth and understanding that really the only choice that you have in life is the choice of perception, how you choose to perceive the world, how you choose to perceive things that happen to you, external, internal, and how you train yourself to find that space and find that Wu Wei in order to bring about positive transformation. So there you go, there's the artwork. I didn't want to put any writing on it. I think that just by itself, it needs to be a work of art by itself. So thank you so much to Celine for doing that. Right, let's dive into this tea. Let me show you this cake. And we're going to taste it for the first time. I have not tasted it since it's arrived. We're going to do a full 10-step tasting. Here we go. The Chime Gatherer. Wow, look at the colors of the leaves. Very, very varied. So let's quickly scope it. This is season September 2020, so an autumn raw PuErh. This is the cultivar, the TEAWARE Zhong variety, so large leaf Assamica variety, but with all of the nuances of the microgenetics of the different areas. So let's talk about the origin. These teas are a 50-50 blend of Lincang tea, so they're both from Lincang prefecture. Half of it is from the very famous Nahan village, really, really famous with very, very old tea forests, and the other half is from Mengfei, which is very close to the Myanmar border, again in Lincang province. They're both Gushu material. The Nahan is supposedly estimated at 300 to 500-year-old tea trees. No way that I can confirm that, but that is the estimate of the age of the tea trees from Nahan, and 150 to 250-year-old is the estimate for the tea material from Mengfei near the Myanmar border. So it's a mix of Mengfei and Nahan, really, really famous village areas. The picking and processing is going to be a bud and up to 3 leaves. Elevation is 1,700 meters approximately for Nahan and 1,100 meters for Mengfei. You can see the color of these leaves. So you've got really nice array of colors. Darker leaves, probably more from the Mengfei village, more famous for darker leaves. So you can see plummier, darker leaves. You can see lighter greens, yellows, whites. So it's a really nice sort of combination of colors here. Beautiful material. Lots of buds. Let's dive in. Stone pressed. Very, very slow dried. That was we like to take our time with the drying process. Low temperature, slow drying produces, I think, better quality tea. So I'm just going to break off a nice chunk here. Might not use it all, but knowing me, probably will. Okay, so let me just put this away. Quick wrap. And I have another cake somewhere, yeah, here. So we can just admire that artwork a little bit more if you want to. I'll put that over here. Right. Let's dive into our gaiwan here. I've got hot water. And we're gonna do a full 10-step tasting. The transformative power of tea. Let me know in the comments section below how tea has transformed your life. One of the things that we have the real privilege of is receiving messages from people all about how their lives have been positively impacted by tea. But how about the stillness, the transformative power of stillness, of doing nothing? It's something that it's taken some time for me to learn. My father was very good at doing nothing, and I would always sort of say, well, come on, like we need to make a business decision, for example. We've got to decide. And he would say, okay, let's just do nothing for a while. And 9 times out of 10, things would happen and things would sort of unlock themselves, or you would suddenly find a solution either through sort of subconscious thinking, where it would just suddenly, the act of stillness brings about a solution. It's remarkable to me, and something that I really am trying to learn more of and take on board as I get older. Right, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna chuck the whole lot in. Go for a power brew of this Chime Gatherer. Let's see what those dry leaves smell like. Immense aromatics. What's what I love about autumn teas. Oh, so fruity. Dried oranges, honeys, forest honeys, maltose. So sweet, fruity, dried, concentrated. There was a little savory note in there as well. Like, you know, sweet salt, sweetened soy perhaps. But the predominance is dried oranges, maybe some dried figs, forest honey, and maltose. Right, I'm going to use this to give it a rinse. Okay, let's have a sniff of those wet leaves. Oh, vanilla-y. creamy vanilla, squidgy pastry, not buttery. Reminds me of quenelles, the interior of quenelles more than the outside. The outside is that beautiful burnished, dark, crispy beeswax coating, but inside you get that sort of soft, slightly gummy, sticky, vanilla-y pastry. Oh, amazing. And I'm also getting some strawberries in there and some bananas. So it's actually a lot sort of more summery than I recall from the matcha. Wow, it's really, really developed since pressing. And this is always one of the things, a few stragglers, don't lose those. It's always one of those things with matcha, you're imagining how it's going to develop. And this has developed beautifully. So much complexity, a little bit of incense note. It has a foresty sort of, not so much the forest in the snow, but a forest after rain. So very, very fragrant smell of sort of temple incense, forest honey, magnolia is there, strawberries, bananas, not so much the persimmon. I hope that comes through in the taste. And also a little tang to it, like vine tomatoes. With tomatoes, it's sort of moving into the persimmon territory. And a lemony, like a lemon sherbet. So much going on. Very, very enjoyable. Very, very aromatic. And again, one of the things that I love about autumn pu'ers so much. Froggy, yes, you can have first taste of this Chime Gatherer. Put you back here so we can count infusions. Okay. Should be enough. Oof. Color is looking very golden. I will show everybody the color out there. Yep. Cloudy, as you would expect with that much bud material. Lovely sort of pale, very pale whiskey gold color. Got a nice thick consistency to it. Right. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. The Chime Gatherer. Autumn Gushu PuErh Nahan and Mangfei blend. Texture is thick and oily. Sweeping minerality coming through immediately, but we'll talk about that later. Taste. I am getting some persimmon. Persimmon has such a particular flavor, almost a little bit spicy in its sweetness. And that minerality has a very fresh note in my mouth. I'm left with an incredible freshness, an incredible snowy, sweet oranges and snow and magnolia freshness in my mouth, but I'm getting to the finish too early. Let's focus on taste. But that finish is really, really remarkable and longer and more potent than I can recall from the matcha. Again, the power of transformation through this pressing process and slow drying. I'm getting that vanilla-y note that we were talking about with the quenelles, but more with snow, maybe like, what are they called, snow cones? Yeah, like shaved ice, maybe like a bingsu, shaved ice with like milk, like maybe evaporated milk or condensed milk. So take some shaved ice, pour over some of that condensed milk. It's creamy, it's sweet, but it's also fresh and snowy. And it's got that persimmon fruity sweetness to it as well. The flowers have shifted, a little bit sweeter, a little bit more in that less magnolia, more in the frangipane, so quite tropical, quite sweet. I'm getting those strawberries, wild strawberries, and I'm also getting that, there's not so much honey, it's deeper than that. It's it reminds me of this cough syrup that I've had ever since I was a kid, loquat syrup. I'm sure I can find a picture of it. It has a very particular sweet, dense, deep, dark taste to it, but also a little bit fruity. And it also has this sort of cooling sensation in the mouth. So let's move on to finish, because it is remarkable, the finish. As I said, sweeping minerality. And what I mean by that is it covers the whole mouth. It doesn't go dry or bitter. It's just sort of like you get this tingling sensation of minerality going over the tongue. Amazing for a autumn tea, but representative more of the age of those tea trees from those very famous mountain areas. Really rich in that sort of mineral energy on the tongue, and very vaporous, almost like a yen yun, like a rock rhyme, like yen cha, sort of vaporous quality to it. Sweet, very, very sweet. Persimmon. Yeah, persimmon sweetness. Frangipans, magnolias. Oh. And it's cooling, as I said. Has a really cooling quality to it, this vaporous nature. Really, really comfortable and cooling. Oh, I'm super happy that the tea has developed even further. Wow. Has almost a slight sort of dried mint quality to it in terms of the taste and the cooling nature of it. Reminds me a little bit of mint humbugs, you know, where it's minty and warm, it's minty and cool, but also quite warm and sort of caramelled. Amazing taste. Super, super happy. Second infusion. Oh, I definitely put a lot of leaf in, packs a punch. So I can bring my infusion times even lower. Yeah, beautiful golden color. All right, let's have another taste and we'll smell the empty cup after this. Cheers, everybody. You know, it really it has the impact on the mouth that I would expect from a spring Gushu PuErh. But it has this extra level of aromatic complexity that comes right off the bat with autumn PuErhs for me in general. That's not to say that spring PuErhs don't have aromatics. They do, but they tend to sort of come out in layers a little bit more, whereas with the autumn teas you just get a real noseful of a bouquet of aromatics. Yeah, it's all there. I'm getting more of those snowy note. I'm getting more of the forest note. And now, yeah, it is sort of like a forest after rain, picking up a sort of note of wet bark in there with all of those beautiful floral notes of magnolias and frangipans and persimmons. Oh, really, really lovely. Okay, let's have a sniff of the empty cup. Oh, I can already start to feel this. It's going to be an interesting session. Okay, let's see. Oh, sweet. Oh, very, very sweet. Some toffees, honeys, condensed milk is there again. I'm also getting, again, that sort of dried orange. So very concentrated, but warm orange note happening. And there is an overall amongst all that warmth, or above all of that warmth, there is a sort of freshness to it as well, a sort of fresh air quality to it, maybe moving into the snowy note. The persimmon sweetness is less in the taste, but more in the aftertaste. Wow, incredible persimmon taste in my mouth. Now, I love it. Okay, let me roll through some infusions because I'm really intrigued to find out the body sensation. The Froggy will tell you that I am on the 5th infusion, and you can see I really did load up that guy one. I've been doing very, very flash brews, so sort of 10-15 second brews, because it is potent. You can see the leaf material here sort of evened out now, more of those greens, a little bit sort of like autumn greens and a little bit russet in terms of some of those stems. This tea has incredible aromatics, a beautiful taste. The two things that I think are the standout features for this tea are the epic aftertaste, this cooling persimmon aftertaste that just never goes, and I'm sure that will last the whole day. This sort of juicy, sweet persimmon cooling aftertaste is so, so lovely. And the second thing is the body sensation on this is something very, and again, you never know how much of this is sort of, my intention was to create a tea that represented transformation through gentleness, through stillness, through quiet. And that's why we worked on these autumn teas. And it definitely has this still, quiet, but potent quality to it. I can feel it right here, right in the third eye. I can feel this really, it's quite in your head, in the sense that it feels like a clearing process. It feels like a transformative clearing process here and a little bit in my chest, but mostly up here. It feels like not clearing in sort of a brightening way. A lot of teas you feel like, oh, everything feels brighter. It doesn't have that sense. It's different. It feels a little bit deeper. It feels a little bit more like that blanket of snow in the cover. It feels like all of the thoughts and all of the sort of, you know, the noise just gets sort of covered over, and there's a sort of quiet stillness in the sensation in my head. Hard to put into words. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts if you pick this up. Yeah, really, really nice, very different body sensation. Not rushy, not like super energetic. Yeah, hard to describe. Like you find space from covering over some of the noise. You know, you find that space. Anyway, that's just the initial reaction I'm getting now from very strong brews. It has a really, really potent body sensation. So there you go. This is the Chime Gatherer, a tea which I'm really excited to explore further. The Loris, calling out anybody who wants to have that space and to gather around the persimmon tree for transformation. I hope that if you pick it up, that you pick up some of the intention that went into this tea, and that you enjoy the taste, the aromas, and the effects. That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags, keep drinking the good stuff, and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.